Study Session 7, Attachment Theory. Introduction. In this study session, you will examine attachment theory. This is a psychological, evolutionary, and ethnological theory that provides a descriptive and explanatory framework for discussion of interpersonal relationships between human beings. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Highlight the characteristics of attachment. 2. Outline how infants form attachment. And 3. Discuss the attachment styles in human development. The meaning of attachment. Attachment in infants is primarily a process of proximity seeking to an identified attachment figure in situations of perceived distress or alarm. Infants become attached to adults who are sensitive and responsive in social interactions with the infant, and who remain as consistent caregivers for some months during the period from about 6 months to 2 years of age. Parental responses lead to the development of patterns of attachment, which in turn lead to internal working models, which will guide the individual's feelings, thoughts, and expectations in later relationships. Bowlby's attachment theory. Attachment theory was developed by Bowlby as a consequence of his dissatisfaction with existing theories of early relationships. He explored a range of fields including evolution by natural selection, object relations theory, psychoanalysis, control systems theory, evolutionary biology, and the field of ethology and cognitive psychology, in order to formulate a comprehensive theory of the nature of early attachment. Cassidy, 1999. Attachment theory has become the dominant approach to understanding early social development and giving rise to a great surge of empirical research into the formation of children's close relationships. Schaeffer, 2007. There have been significant modifications as a result of empirical research, but attachment concepts have become generally accepted. Ruther, 1995. More recent criticism relates to the complexity of social relationships within family settings and the limitations of discrete styles for classification. In Bowlby's attachment, the human infant is considered to have a need for a secure relationship with adult caregivers, without which normal social and emotional development will not occur. Children subsequently learn to use attachment figures as a secure base to explore from and return to. Bowlby believed that there are 4 distinguishing characteristics of attachment. These are: 1. Proximity maintenance, the desire to be near the people we are attached to. 2. Safe haven, returning to the attachment figure for comfort and safety in the face of a fear or threat. 3. Secure base, the attachment figure acts as a base of security from which the child can explore the surrounding environment. And 4. Separation distress. This is anxiety that occurs in the absence of the attachment figure. In addition to care seeking by children, attachment behaviors include peer relationships of all ages, romantic and sexual attraction, and responses to the care needs of infants or sick or elderly adults. However, different relationship experiences can lead to different developmental outcomes. Researchers have developed various ways of assessing attachment in children, including the Strange Situation Protocol, developed by Mary Ainsworth, and story-based approaches such as attachment story complexion tests. Mary Ainsworth developed a theory of a number of attachment styles in infants, in which distinct characteristics have been identified, known as secure attachment, avoidant attachment, anxious attachment, and later Main and Solomon 1986 added a fourth attachment style known as disorganized insecure attachment. Attachment styles. Secure attachment. The attachment figure responds appropriately, promptly, and consistently to the emotional as well as the physical needs of the child. She helps her child to transit and regulate stress, and as a result, the child uses her as a secure base in the home environment. The child protests the mother's departure and quiets promptly on the mother's return, accepting comfort from her and returning to exploration. Avoidant attachment. The attachment figure shows little response to the child when distressed. She discourages her from crying and encourages independence and exploration. The avoidantly attached child may have lower quality play than the securely attached child. The child shows little to no signs of distress at the mother's departure, a willingness to explore the toys, and little to no visible response to the mother's return. Ambivalent attachment. The ambivalent attached child is vulnerable to difficulty coping with life stresses and may display role reversal with the mother. The child presents stereotypes upon the mother's return after separation, such as freezing for several seconds or rocking. This appears to indicate the child's lack of coherent coping strategy. Children who are classified as disorganized are also given a classification as secure, ambivalent, or avoidant based on their overall reunion behavior. The child shows sadness on the mother's departure, ability to be picked up by the stranger and even be warm to the stranger. And on the mother's return, some ambivalence, signs of anger, reluctance to warm to her and return to play. Disorganized attachment. This can be associated with frightened or disoriented behavior, intrusiveness or negativity and withdrawal, role or boundary confusion, affective communication errors, and child maltreatment. The attachment figure is inconsistent with the child. She may at some times be appropriate and at other times neglectful to the child. The child raised in an ambivalent relationship becomes preoccupied with the mother's availability and cannot explore his environment freely or use his mother as a secure base. Study session summary. In this study session, we noted that attachment is a special emotional relationship that involves an exchange of comfort, care, and pleasure. John Bowlby devoted extensive research to the concept of attachment, describing it as a lasting psychological connectedness between human beings. Bowlby shared the psychoanalytic view that early experiences in childhood have an important influence on development and behavior later in life. In addition to this, Bowlby believed that there are 4 distinguishing characteristics of attachment: proximity maintenance, safe haven, secure base, and separation distress. We also noted that Mary Ainsworth expanded Bowlby's work in her study. Her study involved observing children between the ages of 12 to 18 months responding to a situation in which they were briefly left alone and then reunited with their mother. Ainsworth, 1978. Based on these observations, Ainsworth concluded that there were 3 major styles of attachment: secure attachment, ambivalent insecure attachment, and avoidant insecure attachment. Maid and Solomon 1986 added a fourth attachment style known as disorganized insecure attachment. End of study session 7. Thank you for listening.